Com. Hog Reaction is also presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
Kick out, Wagner, top of the key, three-pointer good. Wagner coming alive.
I hold it down. Blue pig food.
Arkansas gets it in. They get it to Black. The clock ticks. Razorbacks survive and advance. Land in the corner. Boogie's three-pointer is good.
Tune in to Hog Reaction after every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN Arkansas.
But it's a statement that this is what this program means.
Anyone want to speculate who Arkansas is going to play Thanksgiving 2025 in Chicago? That was one of the tidbits that your head basketball coach, John Calipari, just gave us in his post-game radio show. It's why you listen to it. He stays on for a couple segments, talking with Z, talking with Chuck, talking with you if you're in Bud Walton Arena, or tonight, for example, if you're in Simmons Bank Arena, or Arkansas wins 82-57 over Central Arkansas. Our number, 877-377-6963. Hog Reaction presented by Buffington Homes and the Stadium Shop on Razorback. We'll tell you both about our great sponsors coming up a little bit. Ty Richardson, Colton Little with you in the next hour and a half or so. I'm going to be honest, I dozed off several times during the first half because it was kind of boring. Arkansas got up to a comfortable, nearly 20-point lead. I think they were up 18 at half. And there wasn't much to take away other than Arkansas took care of business. Hopefully you do so in these a couple next non-conference games. I think it's North Carolina A&T, and then you also have Greg Campy in Oakland, and then you'll get into the rough stuff, which is the Tennessee game on the road in Knoxville, SEC play. Cal's talking about it once again after the game, but Colton, at the end of the day, you beat an in-state opponent, and you beat him pretty handily this afternoon.
Yeah, it was like you said. It was a little bit of a snooze fest, kind of. I mean, I watched you doze off. I kind of got a little bit of caught a couple of Z's myself. But I think that honestly today, it was actually more about the fact that they looked good moving the ball around for one of the first times that I've seen him do that all season, and that's reflected in some of these assist totals today. Boogie Flam was one assist away from being the first Razorback to get a double-double in assists since Jalen Tate, I think is what Chuck said near the end of the game today. So they were really moving the ball well. I thought that Carter Knox had a really good day, kind of playing in the role of where we would usually see a Due Theoro. And really today was, like you said, Ty, just about growth as we move forward for the rest of the season. That's about to get tougher here when the new year rolls around.
Really like what I've seen from Jonas Adu as of late.
5:55 to go. Nice pick and roll inside. Adu throws it down off the assist from Wagner. DJ with a dime. It's 38-19.
He's got a soft feathery touch. Didn't miss a shot today. 13 points, 6 of 6 from the field. Also added 4 rebounds to that in 25 minutes, plus minus of 24. Jonas Adu is a big part of this team. Tommy's been preaching and stressing like, hey, before I make a snap judgment about this basketball team, I want to see what it's like when he's back. Well, he's back. They win that game against Michigan this week. They dominated North Little Rock in a venue that there was a lot of fans. We had a chance to give away 3 pairs of tickets yesterday, and I know that there were several fans. I think Jason was one of them that got a chance to attend. We had several other fans that made their way. He lived in Marshall, but we had several other fans that made their way to Simmons Bank Arena. I know that for me, that was something I loved growing up in Little Rock, going to that game each and every year, which at the time was Alltel and then became Verizon Arena. But for Central Arkansas, Eastern Arkansas, Southern Arkansas, this is an opportunity to go watch this basketball team in person that you don't traditionally get throughout the year just because it's hard to get to Bud Walton Arena, especially during a weeknight game, many of which Arkansas games fall under. Again, our number, 877-377-6963. Colin, you might know this. I haven't kept up with it. Army naming game update.
I haven't
have a
seen
final
much about it since I left your place, but I did see that Army was kind of giving it, Navy was kind of giving it to Army all day long, and I know that Army was driving down by 2 scores.
Got a final for you. 31-13 the finals. Navy defeats the ranked Army squad for the second loss for Army this season. They lost to Notre Dame, and then they lost to their arch rival, who, by the way, was a 6.5-point underdog, and Navy, the midshipmen, just smacked them around around. That's a game I still want to go to. It's a spectacle. It's still real college football. If you like old school college football, it's every bit of that. But Navy, I know we've got some friends that graduated from the Naval Academy or in the Navy or whatever, as well as the Army too. That is a game at West Point. That is a game that I know they look forward to each and every year to hold over the other one. Doug at Mountain Home texted in saying Jonas Adu is moving much better. Doug, you're exactly right. You can tell he's got a nice soft feathery touch around the rim, and he is just getting up and down the floor better. He's a force on the defensive end. He gets rebounds, and you can tell these guys like to play with him. He's your starting center. It's not Zvonimir Visic. He gives you something off the bench with his three-point ability and blocking shots, but that's your anchor down low. And Colton, it's pleasant to watch him really solidify that spot for Arkansas in these last few games.
Yes, Ty, you're right. And so is Doug. Him moving around a lot better is obviously signs of his health being on an upswing, which what the Razorbacks, obviously Razorback fans want. This is a guy that's an all-SEC defensive player of the year, all-SEC defensive first-teamer. I mean, this guy's a force in the paint, like you said. He's also a veteran calming presence out there on the court. And when Arkansas is running a lot of young guys out there, it's important to have a guy that's clocked a lot of minutes in what is going to be a really tough SEC this year that can kind of help them keep a level head as they go into it. And it almost makes you think that Coach Cal probably wanted to build the team around Adu, and some of the struggles we've seen early on in the season have been because of his absence. So like you said, it definitely reassuring to have him be out there today and be at full force, or at least close to it. And then like you mentioned, obviously Big Z's not going to be your starting center, and recently his role, we've seen it shrink, and then today he went 0 for 4, 0 for 3 beyond the arc. So Adu coming back is we're going to see a little bit less of Ivisic down there, trying to bang around, and more of him probably just coming in as a novelty three-point shooter.
Arkansas now 9-2 on this season. That's what Chad points out on our YouTube channel. You can always watch Hog Reaction as well as our other shows on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, on Twitch too. If you ever want to watch, whether it's Hog Reaction, Morning Rush, Chuck and Bo, Halftime, Bruskin and Zach, always up there for you. Yeah, now Arkansas, again, 2 more non-conference games before you have that season-opening non-conference game on the road in Thompson-Boling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're going to take a break here on Hog Reaction. It's brought to you by our friends at Buffington Homes. You can check them out at BuffingtonHomesAR.com and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Had a long conversation with our buddy Robert Mann last week. Love talking ball with Robert. And we were also talking Christmas stuff. They got some awesome things right now. So maybe you haven't picked out your Christmas item for your kiddo, wife, husband, grandpa, grandma, whoever, aunt, uncle. You're going to find what you want at the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Family owned and operated by U of A alumni. They know what you want. Shop on Razorback.com, SHOPPE on Razorback.com. More Hog Reaction coming your way next.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
And this is a big win for Arkansas.
That's a chicken man guaranteed.
Looking for a new home in the heart of Northwest Arkansas? Head to the Cottage at the Park. These beautiful homes by Buffington have direct access to a 120-acre park and offer maintenance-free yards. That means free time can be spent watching the hogs, traveling, playing in the park, or just enjoying a weekend without yard work. For relaxed living at its finest, Cottage at the Park is the best move you'll make. Visit BuffingtonHomesAR.com/hogradio for details.
Catch your wife kissing Santa Claus, whose real name is Bobby from down the street? Want to know your rights in a divorce, custody, child support case? I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Call me today to discuss your options. Start the new year off with a new lease on life for you, and let Santa have her. Mock Legal Solutions, 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
It's fall cleanup time at Gray Brothers Equipment. From the large M7 Series cab Kubotas to the L2502, the best-selling compact tractor in Arkansas and Oklahoma. Gray Brothers and Kubota will make your fall cleanup a breeze. With great pricing and interest rates as low as 0% for 84 months, they're making fall cleanup enjoyable again at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon. Now through 12/31/2024, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird, Limbird Real Estate Group, has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at LimbIrdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren.
Have you been searching for a luxury dealership experience unlike any other? Come to Land Rover Little Rock in Little Rock, Arkansas, and discover why we're known as classy, top-tier, easy, and honest. Whether you want to upgrade your ride to a new Range Rover Velar, or you're in the market for a used vehicle of another make, you won't regret visiting our Little Rock, Arkansas Land Rover dealership for all your automotive needs. Can't make it in? Check us out online at LandRoverLittleRock.com.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Are you looking for a Christmas gift idea for the avid angler in your life? Swing by Make Awake Bait and Tackle and let them set you up with a new Daiwa rod or reel. Make Awake has all the stocking stuffers for the angler in your life, like Strike King, Pinger Minnow, Spro Rock Crawler, the Yum Flash Mob Jr., and more. If you're not sure, let the guys at Make Awake Bait and Tackle on 803 North 11th Street next to Wicks Marine in Fort Smith set you up with a gift card. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, here to help you with your favorite angler's bait and tackle. Be sure and check out our Facebook, and Merry Christmas.
What makes Crabtree RV Center different? First, we are a fourth-generation family-owned business taking pride in making your family's dreams come true. No corporate mentality here. Second, we've been in business for 74 years, founded in 1950 here in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas area. We are not going anywhere. What does that mean for our customers? A family feel with no corporate hidden fees. The reassurance that we will be here for generations to come, and knowledgeable salespeople who want to pick the right RV for your family to make lifetime memories in. Crabtree RV Center, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Nice pick and roll inside. Adu throws it down off the assist from Wagner.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes, helping you build a life you'll love. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. It doesn't get any more Razorback than the Stadium Shop.
Nelly Davis with his second three, and the Hogs are back up by 13.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. Tune in to Hog Reaction after every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN Arkansas.
Down the lane to the rim. DJ missed it, but Brazil lays it in.
This is Hog Reaction.
We held a good shooting team to a low percentage. Where are the kids? You got adults trying to get it. Where? Right, this is for you.
Cracking up. That's Cal in the postgame once again. So in the midst of his conversation with Chuck, Z, and you as a radio listener, he's also autographing stuff. And evidently at that time there were too many adults around him that were trying to get autographs rather than the kids that always get to the front of the line. Hey, it's Hog Reaction. It's presented by the Buffington Homes and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Getting text in about the Chicago game next year, Thanksgiving Day, once again. Can't announce the opponent, is what Cal said. He thinks it's going to be an incredible regular season atmosphere. Again, it's in Chicago. Suggestion from Hunter saying Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, or UConn. If you can play one of those four in Chicago, who would you want to play, Colton?
Definitely because of the history with Duke. I think that another installment
Another
of that
Duke
series
game.
would just be really fun. I would like to see that. I'm sure Duke wants to get a little bit of get back from the last time that they came to Fayetteville when we, knocked them off their block a little bit. But obviously that season didn't go very well for us. So with the new, a little regime change, I think that another opportunity, for us players that aren't quite as smart as those Duke players to just prove that we are once again.
Yeah, the Chicago thing would be unique because you've got Chicago, the setup there, and there's a good chunk of Arkansas fans that live there. And you'd be surprised the amount of Arkansas fans that were in New York. We saw, and I've talked to several people, and I'm like, I need you to take off your Razorback glasses. Who had the biggest fan base in Madison Square Garden? And I'd always get a hand on my shoulder and be like, it was us. And I was just kind of blown away a little bit. Arkansas fans travel well. I bet Chicago, especially with a year in advance, I bet that will be a well-attended game next year. The Razorbacks win 82-57 the final, 877-377-6963, our number to call or text in. We've talked about a couple of Razorbacks. You do have, Colton, you noticed this, a couple of Arkansas connections like Ben Fox, also Lane Taylor on UCA. Ben's from Little Rock. Lane went to Farmington. So UCA, several in-state kids that are on the Bears roster that you saw in action today.
Yeah, and Lane Taylor, I think that he definitely obviously grew up and he probably wanted to be a Razorback down there from Farmington. You couldn't help but do that. And I think that he had a decent showing tonight. There were a couple of times where he made some shots and I was like, that's a serious shot. So it was nice to see some of those Arkansas kids out there, even if it was in purple instead of red and white. But speaking of, fans packing out the stadium, Chuck and Z were talking about it tonight. It seems like that the stadium tonight at Simmons Bank was all the way full. So it's nice for the Razorbacks to go in there and get a win tonight as well, especially since, we don't always have the best history of, waxing teams in there like we should.
Yeah, I think it's weird that they said it during the broadcast. I was listening to not just Chuck and Z, but I also listened to Brett Dolan and Joe Klein, who was on call on SEC Network. I think it was 10-14. I think it's what they said. Did I hear that?
I think it might have been 14-10.
Did I switch it?
But it wasn't as good of a record as you would think that it would be. But I think that tonight being the first time that we played an in-state team there, obviously was a big draw for the crowd. But yeah, just
a good
that
point.
record was just kind of, and I'm thinking back on it though, there have been some rough games that we played in Little Rock, and even some close ones as well. I can remember. I think me and Christian were talking about it today. Elon, and then some other ones, but not tonight. Cal and them took care of business.
I can't remember the team that it was in yellow.
Valparaiso.
Valparaiso.
Yeah,
Adrio.
The buzzer. Yes,
Yep,
sir.
they had a block at the tail end of the game, which kept Arkansas from losing. But yeah, it's not. I can think of one of my earliest memories for Arkansas basketball was attending with my dad when the Baylor Bears came to town. AJ Walton, I believe, was on that team. He's a kid from Little Rock Hall. And AJ was on the Bears, and they came and beat Arkansas pretty good. My dad was happy. No one else in the arena was. But, have not always fared in North Little Rock, but today it was successful, and we saw the in-state date. You think about Dickie Stevens in North Little Rock, that's set up in Simmons Bank Arena. This is not the same argument like it is for football. They need to keep this going and hopefully continue to play in-state schools. Arky from Northwest Arkansas texting in on our hotline, which is 877-377-6963. He points out another good game, another productive game, as he calls it, for Trevin Brazil. I thought Trevin looked good. He had 11 points, 4 of 6 shooting, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He had 4 rebounds to go along with that in 25 minutes, plus 2 blocks. I thought he was real. I think it was 2 blocks. Maybe it was more than that. 5 blocks. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Jonas's stat line below. Yeah, Trevin looked good tonight. He doesn't have to. The thing about this team, I think last year, maybe this was just a fan expectation. Maybe inside the locker room, Eric Musselman and his staff didn't envision Trevin taking that big step. But on this team, he's the 5th option? You go Boogie first, DJ second, probably a Adu third, maybe a Adu second, and then you probably either have Jonas Adu mixed up in there. Point being, he's not asked to do a ton offensively, get rebounds, occasionally knock down 3, play defense, and I think that's more of what his role is. If he can be around a double, and I don't know if he's going to get 10 rebounds a game. I don't know if that's what Trevin Brazile is, but if he's kind of hovering around 10 points a game, plus giving you block shots and effort plays, that's what John Calipari was hoping that he was getting with the guy that was coming back to this basketball team, Colton.
Yeah, the retention of TV was probably, just a kind of a, maybe a head scratcher for most Razorback fans because we had obviously seen him dripping with potential time after time on all of these, these crazy Sports Center top 10 dunks. But there were also times where it seemed like he would just sort of get lost in the shuffle. He'd end up down there in the corner and not really pose much of a threat offensively. But the thing I think this year that's really, really helped him continue to keep these minutes and be able to stay in the game and get more opportunities to use that athleticism is that he's used that same athleticism to get that pogo stick badge, to get those 5 blocks today and just be relentless on the defensive end. He's so long and athletic that it's taken him such a long time to realize that his defense is what can actually propel his game to the next level. And I think that tonight was on display. He's always influencing the game, getting his hand out in passing lanes, obviously affecting shots with his verticality and his length. So to see him continue to build that along with his, his high-flying scoring ability above the rim and that, that touch that he's shown from time to time, you're right. I think that's exactly what John Calipari wanted is to have TB come in and be able to give them 10 points, be able to give them 5 or 6 rebounds.
Yeah, and he can be a pogo stick at times like this.
Wagner. Down the lane to the rim. DJ missed it, but Brazile lays it in.
He's got good timing on the follow-ups, and Arkansas, again, needs those, exciting, injecting plays that he provides from time to time. So, no, I mentioned Thero just a short while ago. No Adu Thero tonight. He dealing with the flu, I guess, and was not able to play. I know that there's some other guys that are not fully healthy on this team, but you look good without him, and you scored 80+ without him. Now, again, that's not a shot at Adu, who's been your most consistent player. It's more of a credit to the guys. I kind of wondered offensively when he wasn't playing where you'd get it from, consistently, and you look at the box score, John Elsh goes 4 of 7, Boogie goes 7 for 11, Trevin goes 4 of 6. Jonas doesn't miss a shot tonight. DJ 5 of 9. Carter 5 of 8. Billy Richmond was 2 of 4. That's efficiency. Not a single guy that I just listed out shot below 50%. They all shot above 50%. That is production. And you're hoping you can get that. Let's see, 6 guys ended up with double figures tonight. So a productive night for this basketball team and how they were able to get it going without maybe their most consistent player. You're only going to have 9 guys. So when you do have someone go out, it's going to be interesting to see who steps up in situations like tonight. Again, this is not the same caliber of opponent that you were going to play once SEC plays begins. By the way, SEC did get some good wins today. We saw the Texas A&M Aggies, or some of you saw the Texas A&M Aggies defeat Purdue in Indianapolis, which West Lafayette is not far at all from Indy. That's basically a Purdue home game, and the Aggies got a big win today. Colton, like you're saying, you look at some games right now, the number 1 Tennessee Volunteers are up on Illinois by 3 in the second half. Kentucky has a 10-point lead over Louisville with about 10 minutes to go. Mississippi State's tied with McNeese, and then Georgia's up on Grand Canyon. Some of the outcomes from today: Ole Miss beats Southern Miss. SMU did defeat LSU. Florida takes down Arizona State and Bobby Hurley. South Carolina beats South Carolina Upstate. Auburn beats Ohio State. Doesn't just beat them, crushes them, 91-53. And then Missouri beat LIU. Brooklyn 88-61. Some of the outcomes today: Auburn is the real deal. Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama. I've been saying it for weeks now, just in a class of their own, Colton.
Yeah, Ty, Coach Cal was talking about this kind of in that same post game. He was talking about how when he first got into the SEC, they were lucky to get 3 teams in, and he was always clamoring, we need more, we need more, we need more. And now he's saying that 8 is a real possibility, and that honestly, there's no way that they can't get at least 8 every single year with the way the league has been so deep this year. Like I said, A&M got a big win today, basically a road game, against on the road against Purdue more or less in Indianapolis, and so that's big for them. You see Kentucky probably going into what's going to be a big test against Louisville tonight. Tennessee right now is struggling with Illinois, but I think I saw a stat today that the league is right now 110, 115, and 15 overall so far this season. I mean, there are probably the top 10 is littered with SEC teams, so it's going to be serious this year. And once January rolls around, every single game the Razorbacks play is going to be more or less do or die, because it could be the difference between playing where you get seated in the conference tournament and how the seedings may shake out for March as well.
Yep. Another break to hit. It's Hog Reaction presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and Buffington Homes. Rolling around the next hour. If you want to call or text us, you've got a thought on a blowout win for Arkansas tonight. 25 points the difference, 82-57. Some college football news, anything that you want to discuss. Navy defeats Army pretty handily, 31-13 today, or other basketball stuff. Plus, Arkansas's got a few commits. We'll talk about some of that as well as we roll on a Hog Reaction show here on a Saturday, December 14th, next.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
And this is a big win for Arkansas.
That's a chicken man guarantee.
Are you Christmas shopping for the hunter, the fisherman, the working man, the marksman, the archer? Then get down to Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith. Check out all the toys for all the boys, no matter what their age. Jelco Outdoors is your locally owned store for work and the great outdoors. Jelco gift cards are always a perfect fit. This Christmas, shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith. Merry Christmas from Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hi, I'm Truett Tollett with WT Equipment in Spring. As the year ends, we're motivated to move inventory and meet all your equipment needs. Take advantage of year-end pricing on New Holland, Bobcat, Hustler, Steel, and more across our 8 locations in Arkansas and Louisiana. Stop by for a cup of coffee or visit us online at WTEquip.com. Thank you for your business, and we wish you a Merry Christmas, a safe New Year, and a prosperous 2025.
Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Champion Cycling wants to help you find the joy in cycling that's been part of their family for many years. Register today through December 20th at hitthatline.com for your chance to win a specialized road bike just in time for Christmas. Whether you're a child getting your first bike, an adult who hasn't been on a bike in years, or someone who's looking to podium at their next race, Champion Cycling wants to help you find the right bike. A great selection of bikes, cycling apparel and accessories, and great service. Champion Cycling, 5500 Mazard Road in Fort Smith. Find your next ride with Champion Cycling.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at InStock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or a do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by InStock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. InStock Parts.
Nice pick and roll inside. Adu throws it down off the assist from Wagner.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes, helping you build a life you'll love. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. It doesn't get any more Razorback than the Stadium Shop.
Nelly Davis with his second three, and the Hogs are back up by 13.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. Tune in to Hog Reaction after every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN Arkansas.
Down the lane to the rim. DJ missed it, but Brazil lays it in.
This is Hog Reaction.
It is Hog Reaction, and we'll talk more about Arkansas's 82-57 win. But I do want to discuss some Arkansas football news. I know we can always talk about football 365 days here on ESPN Arkansas at hitthatline.com. The Razorbacks got Keyshawn Davila, the number one JUCO cornerback in the 2025 class, to commit today. Oklahoma former defensive back Connie Walker committed to Arkansas, and not just committed, signed, I should say. Other news, this is departures. I've listed out some good things. Departures, Luke Hasz, Jalen Braxton, and Patrick Kudus are all going to Ole Miss. Brad Spence to Texas, where he's from. I think Houston area, if I remember that right. So those hurt. I think Luke's going to thrive in Kiffin's offense because I think Prescorn exhausted his eligibility. So to me, Luke Hasz is going to just flourish under Lane Kiffin. I hate that. Jalen Braxton's probably going to be a starter under Pete Golding. We'll see if Patrick Kudus ends up being a starter, but those hurt. And I love Brad Spence, and I hate that I'm going to have to see him in a Longhorn uniform next year in Austin. Colton.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when it seems like that your best players are being poached by what is considered a rival by many people, when it's also a team in your own conference. You really don't want to see that. It's a hard pill to swallow. Especially when you know there's real talent there, like you said with Luke Hasz. There's going to be an absence now of a pass catching tight end, and then obviously you don't have a cornerback like Jalen Braxton walk into your defensive back meeting room every day if you're the Ole Miss defensive coordinator. So some big blows to the Razorbacks football team, and definitely to the confidence of a lot of fans. There's no question about that. But like I know Coach Pittman said in his press conference late last week, just to be patient to see how some of this portal stuff shakes out. And so far, they've addressed some needs already by getting left tackle, guy that was highly rated from Oregon, transferring in.
He signed today.
Yeah, and then they had, as well as these two defensive backs today, one of the best JUCO prospects in the nation, and then a guy that's already played in the SEC at Oklahoma with a defense that actually played very well at Oklahoma for the most part this season. So it's encouraging to see that you're still an attractive place for good football players, but yeah, Ty, I think like you said, you don't want to see. It'd be tough to see a kid that's a former Razorback wearing that burnt orange or that stupid ugly powder
What's
blue.
worse of those four that you lost, which you'll play both Ole Miss and Texas next year? That was the thing about Rocket going to South Carolina. You didn't have to play the Gamecocks. You had to play Chris Football this last year. Which one hurts the most? I think Clay, if I remember correctly, it was Luke Hasz that he said. Of those four, which would you say?
I would definitely say Luke Hasz, just because of just the hype surrounding him and just the flashes of when he was healthy in his freshman season, and then obviously even this year, when they actually got him the ball, it was very obvious that he's a difference maker, and he's a pass catching tight end as well. And so him being asked to do quite a bit of blocking this year, and that system may not have been. I don't want to say that it may not have been his most favorite thing, but it's not where Luke Hasz shines the best is as a blocker. He's very capable, but obviously when you have the ability to run routes like he can and really get past that second level, I think that Luke Hasz probably wants to go to a place where he knows that they're going to spread the ball around and he's going to be a top option. And in Ole Miss, it doesn't really matter what their quarterback situation looks like next year. They're going to find someone that's going to get the ball to open receivers because Lane Kiffin has an eye for that type of stuff. So it definitely hurts because you think that Luke Hasz will probably get the most spotlight and he'll be the most utilized out of all those players.
You think about Ty Washington, Varkey's Gums, and now Luke Hasz. Don't know who's really going to do a lot in the tight end position for this upcoming Liberty Bowl, which is less than 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from yesterday, Arkansas will take on I almost said the Kansas Jayhawks, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, 6 o'clock on ESPN. We're going to have coverage leading up to it. We've got a location that we're going to be doing it from. We'll probably announce that next week. I'm going to kind of hold it to my chest like Cal did with the Chicago location, but I think you guys are going to be enthused when we're doing the show. I'm excited about that. So Chuck and Bo, the morning rush and halftime will all be on location, and Derek and Zach will be your pregame that day, and then we'll have postgame coverage from the Liberty Bowl following, hopefully, an Arkansas victory to get into 7-6 on the season, which is not where we want to be, not where Coach Pittman wants to be, not where I want to be, but that would at least be a 3-win boost from a 4-8 season last year, and then hopefully heading into just a brutal 2025 schedule, you can figure some things out with new additions and stuff to the roster in this upcoming season. There is another notable name, Jackson Arnold, probably the biggest name that is entered and signed within the last 24 hours. He didn't enter in the last 24, but he signed. Going to Auburn. Sure sounded like he was going to end up in Starkville with Jeff Levy, who recruited him to Norman, but they've been putting out, Auburn's really pushing Jackson Arnold on their social media. So I'm going to guess he's going to be the starter next year. I wonder about Walker White.
He's already transferred, Ty. He's already gone. He's already hit the portal.
Walker has? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. You might want to double check that for authenticity. But I saw that they posted a graphic about Deuce, because they have Deuce Knight coming in, who's a really big, high-rated prospect. They just got him. And then I saw that there was already reports that Walker White was gone. So that may be someone that, if it's true, Arkansas would definitely want to get a look at him. It's a kid from Mid-State, and they definitely could. You have a lot of unproven experience behind Taylon Green in that quarterback room. You got a lot of nice pieces coming in, and Grayson Wilson and Nico's brother. I about tried to say his last name, won't even try. Madden, and as well as KJ, who I like. So I thought I saw that Walker White was in the portal.
No, you're right. Between Pete Thamel and Pete Nankos, who covers their transfer portal for On3 Sports, Matt Zenitz has it too for 24/7 Sports. He is entering the transfer portal. That would be interesting, like you alluded to, if Arkansas made a run at him. You've got the roster right now currently. KJ Jackson sits behind Taylon Green. You've got Madden coming in. You've got Grayson Wilson coming in. Curious if, was that 4? I don't know if they still have, I don't know. I'm assuming Ledbetter's still on the roster. I got to double check on that. Some of the things you just like, you can't text like things, hey, can you verify this on the fly? They're just kind of hitting in my head on the fly. But I'd be curious to see again if Walker White, where he ends up. 1, because I grew up with his family. 2, it is an Arkansas connection, and he was highly recruited. Not in Grayson's class, but the class before that. All right, we're going to take another short break here on Hog Reaction. Again, our number 877-377-6963 if you want to jump in, talk some ball. We talked a little football there. When we come back, we'll come back to more Arkansas basketball. 82-57, the final tonight in North Little Rock and Simmons Bank Arena. More on that next.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
And this is a big win for Arkansas.
That's a chicken man guaranteed.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Over the river and through the woods, to Salisaw we go. Mock Legal Solutions is opening a second location to serve our Eastern Oklahoma clients. 105 East Chickasaw. For divorce and custody, let us give you the Christmas gift of a new start. And for personal injury, we will get you a settlement check when Grandma gets run over by that reindeer. 918-238-2363. Or check out our website at mocklegalsolutions.com. Free intakes and payment plans available. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Looking to boost your health and feel your best? Elite Wellness and Aesthetics in Fort Smith is here to help. Starting at only $200 a month, semaglutide and tirzepatide are weight loss shots that can kickstart your journey to a healthier, more confident you. And with Elite's hormone therapy treatments, you can restore balance, energy, and vitality. Take control of your health today with Elite Wellness and Aesthetics. 479-242-9355 to schedule your appointment or visit FortSmithElite.com. Elite Wellness and Aesthetics, getting to know you inside and out.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
It's Ty Richardson with owner and operator Cecil Gardner with Jazzco Graphics. What makes you unique from other stores in the area?
I try to build a great relationship with all of my customers. I can do just anything from cars to food trucks to signs, banners. I do a lot of custom this and that. I'll say 100% of anybody come in here, they leave out happy. Jazzco Graphics Design, 2415 Midland. It's on the corner of Midland and Kelly. Jazzco Graphics, the one-stop shop.
To us a child is given, and his name shall be Wonderful, Counselor, Emmanuel, God with us. Mike Blaylock with Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning and Plumbing Services. From all of our families here at Blaylock, we would like to wish you and your family a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Is someone special to you missing out on life because of foot pain? Let's face it, if your feet hurt, you don't want to go anywhere. Give the gift of freedom. Check out our store for all kinds of options to benefit your special someone. We have perfect gifts for those suffering from a variety of foot issues, such as plantar fasciitis, bunions, tendonitis, diabetes care, neuropathy, or just tired and achy feet. Visit us today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
This is Coke Zero Sugar. Could I be the best Coke ever? Try and taste with your ears. Hear those bubbles? Imagine them tingling on your tongue. Fizzy deliciousness. Listen to that cascading liquid. A mouth-watering waterfall. Irresistibly tasty. Zero sugar. Crisp, refreshing, and ice cold. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Pick and roll inside. Adu throws it down off the assist from Wagner.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes, helping you build a life you'll love. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. It doesn't get any more Razorback than the Stadium Shop.
Nelly Davis with his second three, and the Hogs are back up by 13.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. Tune in to Hog Reaction after every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN Arkansas.
Down the lane to the rim. DJ missed it, but Brazil lays it in.
This is Hog Reaction.
Arkansas Dave's listening in Mount Ida, asking me to comment on Connie Walker, who's signed with Arkansas. I know he was at Oklahoma. I guess he's a connection with Cam Ball. I don't know if he's a Georgia kid. I haven't looked too much into him, to be honest, Dave. But I know that Cam seems to be excited that he's coming to Arkansas. So we'll have to wait and see how he is next year. Again, these players that are leaving and going, it's like from what you've seen, right? Luke has Jalen Braxton, Patrick. I know you don't watch the offensive line, but you've thought good things of Patrick Kutas more often than not, just because it seemed like the offensive line looked a little better when he was in there. And then you have the players they had never seen before. They either haven't played much on the field, or they're guys at lesser, smaller schools. Which your best player this year, in my opinion, was Andrew Armstrong. Went to Texas A&M Commerce. I can't even. I've been by that field. I can't think of the town it's at. But every time Colt and I drive by, whether I'm going to Dallas or somewhere in that area, I always think, oh, that's where Andrew was at. But that's where you plucked away your best player, and it's like twofold. So you got your best player, arguably this last season, from a really small school, busted 1,000 yards, number one in SEC in so many categories, And then you also got your best defensive player. He couldn't get on the field at Georgia. It's Xavier Sori. And now he's back for another season. So you can do it a couple different ways. For Arkansas, you can go get a kid from a smaller school like they did with Andrew Armstrong, or you can get a kid who's not playing on a good football program or great football program in the case of Georgia. And the only reason you're not playing is because he's got NFL guys all around it. But I think Sori's probably an NFL guy too, just couldn't get on the field, Colton.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ty, and I think that also fans should be encouraged to see these defensive back transfers come in as well, because I think that the ones that they got last year in the portal, I think we got some positives from them too, and those were also guys like that you mentioned, Ty, that are from smaller schools. I think Steven Dix, Larry Worth is kind of a hybrid defensive back linebacker. Those were good pickups out of the portal. Those were guys that I think actually logged good minutes for the Razorbacks and were very versatile defenders. So I think that Travis Williams and the rest of the defensive coaches there, I think that they also have a really good eye for talent, and think that I would be encouraged by these two pickups that we saw today for the secondary, because those are guys that have obviously played. If not high level football like the JUCO guy, at least have flashed really, really well at a low level. And then a guy that's come in, like I said, from an Oklahoma defense that I thought was the strength of their team last year. Now, I don't think that he was an everyday starter. I think that he might have been one of their reserve players. And so he was fighting to get on the field there. But those two guys, I think, are going to immediately come in and compete for time the second they step into on campus.
Hopefully, there will be additions that you like to have. Now, you got an addition this season, basketball-wise, with a guy that you didn't know initially was going to be back on this roster. That's Trevon Brazile, who was in the portal after looking at his NBA prospects. And we getting text earlier about that they're pleased, and I'd be pleased. Cal seems to be pleased, too, with Trevon so far.
When he's spirited, you see he can do things the normal guy can't do.
You know that friend of yours growing up that had all the talent in the world, that when he utilized it and actually busted his butt or busted her butt, then it was awesome to watch. Well, it could be sports related, academic related, whatever the case may be. But he or she didn't have the best work ethic, or it didn't always have that dog in them, right? I think Trevon, like you're seeing, like his ceiling's really high, but sometimes he just kind of is out there. And when he's got a motor and when it's on, when that thing's charged up and going, Trevon Brazile is a really vital part of this basketball team. And just, again, hovering around double-digit points, couple blocks here and there, highlight plays that gets the team energized. I mean, it was funny. Like playing high school basketball, we had one guy on our team that could dunk, and that got the team going. And then you play against a team that other guys, it just energizes the whole team. So he makes these plays that momentum's a big thing in basketball. We always talk about game runs, and he's able to do that. He's able to do things, excuse me, that other guys can't. And hopefully, again, the maximization that John Calipari is seeking from Trevon Brazile, that you see it more consistently. Maybe like when you saw 2 years ago prior to him getting injured, that's the Trevon Brazile I hopefully want to see, especially I think we're seeing more out of him on the defensive end, Colton, than maybe he's been since at Arkansas.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we talked about earlier, Trevon, he's obviously got so much talent. You think about the highlight dunks and the way that he's able to elevate, but being able to put it all together, and I think that to have a coach who's seen so many different types of players with that amount of potential in Coach Cal, I think that he knows exactly how to get the best out of Trevon Brazile, and that's why we're seeing him sort of blossom right now early on in the season. And what you hope is that as the season goes on, he's able to continue to keep this role that you mentioned, Ty, kind of getting that 10, 15 points a game range like he did at Michigan the other night, which we needed all 15 of those points. So if he's able to do that every single night in and night out, and also add, 5 blocks in there, 2 or 3 blocks in there, it's going to be a really great thing to see. The fact that Trevon stuck with the team and he's able to continue. He'll be able to finish his career as a Razorback, which I know that he'd want to do. And then he's able to hopefully take all the things that Coach Cal has taught him and go on to the next level and become the NBA player that I think that he wouldn't have had the shot to be had he jumped ship early at the end of last year.
It never hurts to have a recommendation from John Calipari when it comes to the next level of a guy, of an executive or a coach or whoever that's seeking out questions about Trevon Brazile. It's like, hey, what do you think about this kid at the next level? And then Cal to give his honest opinion, especially if he improves in some other areas. Again, it's Our Reaction basketball version presented by Buffington Homes and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback. We talk football too, buddy Robert Teague over at Teague Law Firm just sent me this picture of Lane Kiffin holding 3 pigs. It looks like it's been doctored.
The AI pictures of Lane Kiffin and of Sam Pittman have gotten really good.
Yeah.
They will fool your grandparents. So please double check those for authenticity. I saw one where one certain coach was shoving another coach in a locker.
Oh, geez, yeah. It continues on. But for those that haven't seen it, Jalen Braxton, Luke Haz, and Patrick Kudus have all announced that they are heading to Oxford, Mississippi. Ole Miss. Brad Spence is heading to Texas. His, I say hometown school. He's a Houston kid, so you've got that connection there. Curious who is the most impactful when they play Arkansas. The Razorbacks will play Ole Miss in October, and then September, and then you'll take on the Texas Longhorns late in November. So both of those guys on the roster, at least 4 of the most pivotal players that at least been talked about with this with this football team thus far. You've added players as well. You're gonna is it Juwan McCowan? Is that
I think it was Oregon? I'm not sure.
The Oregon, the Oregon offensive tackle transfer has signed with Arkansas. He was a big get. In terms of out of the transfer portal, and we'll see what as these new tidbits continue to cycle out, what they're going to be. You look at this box score tonight. Again, it's hard to really dissect a 25-point win against an in-state team that simply doesn't have the same talent as you do. I am curious though, when Arkansas plays the likes of Tennessee, you think about your schedule. Coming up in conference play, when you take on Rick Barnes' Tennessee squad, who's number 1 in the country. Ole Miss is a Wednesday night game at Bud Walton Arena, and then you'll probably have one of the biggest crowds of the season thus far when Florida comes to town on Saturday, January 11th. The Gators are.
I think they're number 9 right now. They're 10-0.
Yeah,
they won big today.
Todd Golden's got a really good team there. So again, the SEC. It is just really difficult to win in this league. And that's your early setup. Barnes, Beard, Golden, LSU. Going to have to see what McMahon has in his basketball team. That's a team I have a question about at least. Dennis Gates in Missouri beat Kansas the other night. Georgia. And you just go down the list. There's no checklist wins by any stretch.
Chris Jans is really good at Mississippi State.
Chris Jans at Mississippi State. They always play good defense. Arkansas, for whatever reason, can't ever win in Humphrey Coliseum in the Humped Up. That's just a tough place. Blows. And honestly, it's just so frustrating.
When do they play Auburn? When is that game?
The Auburn game is a Wednesday night. I can't remember. All right, it is the February 19th. That's when the Auburn game is. That is going to be a rough one because Auburn, again, your road games this year, the best teams in your league are Kentucky, Auburn, and Tennessee and Alabama. You only get one of those games at home. You get the Crimson Tide at home. You go on the road to every other venue. We know how hostile the Kentucky game is going to be when they welcome in, and I say welcome in jokingly, on February the 1st when Arkansas travels for that game. It's going to be fascinating to see how the Razorbacks fare on the road in SEC play as we progress throughout the season. And not just the Razorbacks, but other basketball teams in this league when it's talking about Arkansas and everything else. Now, in terms of this upcoming Liberty Bowl game that Arkansas has here in less than 2 weeks from now, I know there's questions about what the roster is going to look like and everything else, and maybe some of the reasons that Arkansas has been losing players is because of what Sam Pittman was talking about, the agents calling the players. Here was what Coach had to say about this happening in college football right now.
Yes, there's been several surprises. And then what you've got to do is you got to figure out, what's happening right now is the agents are just making random calls to schools saying, if Joey gets into the portal, how much would you pay him? You know, what happens, then the agent gets back to the kid and says, hey, so-and-so will offer you X amount of dollars. And then the young man obviously wants to make money, and that's wonderful. That's what the portal's for. Then he comes in and says, hey, coach, whatever we agreed on, that's not the number. This is the number. And if you don't match it, then obviously they've already got security of another university. So I think I certainly would welcome any of those guys that did it the right way back if that was a fallacy of their conversation with their agent.
And that's not just something Sam Pittman is dealing with on a daily basis, but also the rest of college football. And you think about some of the coaches at lesser levels. I don't have the clip from the Coastal Carolina coach talking about what it is now, but he kind of stated it as this: we're not building programs, we're just building teams, because you can't really build a program anymore with how fluctuating college football and college basketball to a certain degree and college baseball too are, which I had never thought about it or approached it like that but that was a pretty strong statement from a guy that's been around college football for a lot of years, Golden.
Yeah.
It's not building programs, you're building teams.
I mean, the evaporation of what was the amateur aspect of college football is becoming a huge downfall to the average fan's ability to want to watch the game, and that's a shame because the game in itself is still just as exciting as it's ever been. I think today, if you watch any second of the Army-Navy game, that's like the last bastion of traditionalism left in the whole game. And those guys aren't getting $1 for NIL. They're actually signed up to do something that most of us wouldn't do, even if we were forced to. So, and to see them go out there and play football, have innovative, plays and run schemes, and to still see that passion, that gives you hope that there's still a little bit left in college football. But like Coach Pittman's saying, agents calling schools and trying to restructure what is essentially contracts for these what are still kids in most cases, it's not exactly a heartwarming story that you really want to see. And as for Razorback fans, it's got to hurt even more, especially when you see what are potentially your best players, your highest valued players, players that we all like, when you see them go to a school that we don't like. It's the ugly side of the fact that these kids do deserve to be paid for what they do for the school, but at the same time, the inmates can't run the asylum.
Ole Miss continues to rise, I think, on the rivalry spectrum, with Lane Kiffin being open about poaching Arkansas players. Eli Drinkowitz in Missouri keeps beating you. Texas steals one of your better linebackers. So here's the thing I take away. I don't know how heavily Patrick Kudus was recruited by Ole Miss out of Memphis. I think he's a Christian Brothers kid, if I remember that right. Jalen Braxton's a Frisco, Texas kid. Then you've got, who's the other one? Luke Haz is a Bixby, Oklahoma, right outside Tulsa. I think for, like, Brad Spence thing, and I don't know this to be true, but he could have grown up a Texas fan. And, like, I sort of I can come around on the idea of, like, hey, I want a chance to beat these guys, but if my home team comes calling, I get it. It's like Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché with Louisiana State.
Or Jalen Catalon.
Yeah,
We saw that.
And it's, listen, it sucks because they're your guys until they're gone, and then they're the enemy, basically, for a lot of you and how you but I at least understand it's the same thing for a kid that goes to Arkansas State or UCA or Hendrix or anywhere else in this state. Or another smaller school like an Anthony Switzer who was at Arkansas State and Utah State, and he got his opportunity to play in the university he grew up a fan of, which is the University of Arkansas. The issue is you just don't have as many kids that go elsewhere and then that you can pluck away and bring back here because they're not talented enough to play SEC level football. Again, just to put in perspective, Arkansas is the worst high school talent in the SEC. And it's not close. It's not a shot at the coaching in this state. It's not a shot at the young men that play football each Friday night here. It's just reality. And so that's an issue that Sam Pittman has to deal with. And I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just telling you what the reality is. So it's just tough on that staff and everything else. You want in-state kids. I do too. But they're not talented enough to play here. Then you never know. And you're hoping that they could pan out to, even though they don't look like it on paper. Like I was watching Greater the other night with Brandon Burlesworth, which is the greatest walk-on story, maybe the greatest like fan growing up football player story of all time, not just in this state, but anywhere for that matter. And that's the exception. It's not the rule. And so it's just tough. And that's what they have to deal with. All right, another break here on Hog Reaction. Again, our number, 877-377-6963. Razorbacks win 82-57 tonight. We're talking about it. We'll talk more next here, presented by Buffington Homes and the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
And this is a big win for Arkansas.
That's a chicken man guarantee.
Looking for a new home in the heart of Northwest Arkansas? Head to the Cottage at the Park. These beautiful homes by Buffington have direct access to a 120-acre park and offer maintenance-free yards. That means free time can be spent watching the hogs, traveling, playing in the park, or just enjoying a weekend without yard work. For relaxed living at its finest, Cottage at the Park is the best move you'll make. Visit BuffingtonHomesAR.com/hogradio for details.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Finding your joy in cycling is the main goal at Champion Cycling. Champion Cycling takes pride in helping you find the right bike. Whether it's a road bike, mountain bike, or just a bike for leisure, Champion Cycling has a great selection of bikes, including brands like Specialized Surly and Salsa. Need service or repair? The friendly, professionally trained technicians will assess your bike's needs and provide you with a free, no-obligation estimate. Find your joy in cycling at Champion Cycling, 5500 Mazur Road in Fort Smith.
Remember the classic Massey Ferguson tractors, straightforward, dependable, tough as nails, and easy to run? It's those classic models that inspired the Massey Ferguson 2600H series, as durable and reliable as the classics, with up to 74 horsepower and more comfort so you can work harder. The Massey Ferguson 2600H series. It's everything you want and need in a tractor. See one at Bush Machine and Tractor Company or visit bushtractor.com to learn more.
It's Ty Richardson. We're live at Rainwater's Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, 9700 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Gail, we got spring weddings coming up.
A lot of brides are planning their weddings for spring, and Rainwaters is ready to get them all set up, match up your colors, make all your guys look good. Come to Rainwaters, you get to try it on immediately, and you know that it fits, and we'll take care of you.
When you stop by, make sure to tell Gail and his staff that Ty sent you.
Rainwaters Men's Clothing and Tuxedo Rental, because it's fun to look good.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They're open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
AAA Business Systems is your printer, copier, and production print solutions provider. What makes AAA unique? Ricoh, Sharp, and Brother Equipment. Fast, friendly service from our office technology experts. All-inclusive service contracts, managed IT services, and 4 locations statewide. AAA Business Systems. Find us online at AAABM.com. AAA Business Systems. Anything else is just a copy.
Are you ready to stay warm, save money, and be in control of your energy bills this year? Arkansas Oklahoma Gas has you covered. We care about you and your energy needs. That's why we want to share knowledge and tools to weatherproof your wallet and keep your home cozy. Wondering about ways to help save on your natural gas bill? Looking for payment options? Interested in simple DIY measures to help save energy? We've got you. Visit AOGC.com/winner today and discover resources and information designed to help you save, stay warm, and stay informed.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson. We're live at First Financial Mortgage with my friend Ethan Adamson. Ethan was my mortgage lender here. And Ethan, between you and Emily, over 2 decades.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of experience here to help you get closed on a home really quick. We offer custom financing available through VA, FHA, RD, and conventional loans. First Financial Mortgage has a great history of lending in the area. Call 479-782-9300. Weekdays 8 to 5, ffb1.com. First Financial Mortgage, in the business of you, equal housing lender.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Nice pick and roll inside. Adu throws it down off the assist from Wagner.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes, helping you build a life you'll love. And by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. It doesn't get any more Razorback than the Stadium Shop.
Nelly Davis with his second three, and the Hogs are back up by 13.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. Tune in to Hog Reaction after every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN Arkansas.
Down the lane to the rim. DJ missed it, but Brazil lays it in.
This is Hog Reaction.
But I walked out in New York and I saw 8,000 people with red. I mean, it was crazy. And that's when I said, we got to play in New York every year. If 8,000 people will come, then we need to go.
So Chicago, Thanksgiving Day next year. New York, apparently going to get done again next season. It's not bad for a non-conference schedule for Arkansas. Now, I will say this. There have been some awesome games in these neutral site venues. Kansas City, just getting a chance to do these things. Your non-conference home schedule isn't great. Like the Kansas game, like think about if you didn't have the Kansas game in basketball, the exhibition, and you just had the non-conference game. But that's what it is. Baylor and Dallas was great, even though you lost. That's the setup. And again, you take the good and the bad, right? The non-conference games here at Budweiser Arena aren't going to be great, but you do have good ones. Again, Arkansas blows out UCA 82-57 tonight. We're reacting to it, if I could talk, here on Hog Reaction. Colton Little, I'm Todd Richardson. You can call or text us at 877-377-6963. For those that missed it earlier in the show, Cal talked about that they have an opponent already for Chicago next season on Thanksgiving. We speculated whether it's North Carolina, Duke, UConn, Kansas, one of those teams. I mean, you just think about a blue blood that could make it happen. Maybe Arizona. I don't know, Colton. I have no indication of which is which, but just tossing out names, honestly, for conversation's sake.
Could be Purdue again, someone that's close by, Chicago area. That would probably be, I wouldn't mind to see that one again. I'm sure Matt Painter probably like a little comeuppance about the last time that he faced a Razorback team. So I think that no matter what, like you said, Chicago, New York City, Kansas City, I prefer all of these big non-conference matchups in these marquee cities far more than I prefer going to the Bahamas or wherever we used to do for tournaments. I like these a lot more. And more eyes is better.
Yeah, and tonight, for example, we had, like, I'm texting Jason right now. He lives in Marshall. He's probably listening on the way back. He got a chance to go. We had several tickets that we gave away. It looked like there was a big crowd in Simmons Bank Arena this afternoon. So hopefully that will continue to be the case when they play these games. We'll see if they play games in Hot Springs and Pine Bluff for scrimmages like they did this season. I forget what it was called, not the Cal Tour, but we kind of alluded to it. It's called it that, but we'll see if they continue to do that. I hope that's the case. Now, if you want to jump way ahead, and I always do this, the closest NCAA tournament sites. So San Antonio is where the Final Four is hosted. You know me, I always like to get ahead of schedule. Wichita, Kansas is the closest round of 32 first round site for Arkansas fans. Wichita, Kansas. And then Atlanta is the best one for Sweet 16 Elite 8. So hopefully Arkansas will end up in Wichita, and if they survive that, they get to go to Atlanta, because I know easy flight in. You got a lot of connections to Atlanta for Arkansas fans. Just don't know. Again, we're way out from NCAA tournament stuff, but thinking far ahead. And Colton, that's why anytime NCAA tournament sites come out, I always look at them way out in advance. My dad taught me that growing up, just because he loved to go to NCAA tournament games for our spring break, and that's like one of his favorite things to do. And he's going to probably wind up going to Wichita or Lexington, if I had to guess.
Yeah, they haven't had one in Arkansas in a little while. I know they've done some in Little Rock before. I know that they actually, one of the most important basketball moments in our state, it happened in Pine Bluff at an NCAA tournament game. So I think that it's really important that that if you're going to go ahead and look, that you let me know too, so I can kind of go ahead. I mean, we probably can't go at the same time, but it's just good to know where you'll be, so I can plan ahead as well.
I wouldn't allude to it like that, but just something to think about here at the head. So, what else did you take away tonight? I know Cal's taking away the SEC. Man, it is way different than it used to be.
This league, look, when I walked in this league 15 years ago, there were 3 teams getting in. I know Billy did some good stuff, and then we did some good stuff. You win, and we did some Final Fours, but it was limited teams. There were 4. You remember when I used to say we need to get 8 in, and I was full of crap. I was saying whatever I was saying, trying to help guys. But the reality of it is now I think there'll be 2. Now listen to this. I've been wrong before. 1978, I think it was. But I think there'll be 2 teams with losing records in our league that'll get in the NCAA tournament. You ready for this? And in all likelihood advance.
8-10 and win the first round is what he's saying. He's talking about Billy Donovan, who won a couple national championships, a couple Final Fours when he was down in Florida. But, I mean, think about that stretch. Like when Arkansas wasn't good, post Nolan Richardson, and it was Florida and Kentucky. That was an A&M. And I say A&M wasn't even the SEC then. So that's what it was. And now I think the record that it's either 8 or 9, Colton.
I think 8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be shocked if it wasn't 10 teams in the league. Now, like we saw in SEC football, the league beat up on each other and was not rewarded. And we got 3 teams in, a 2-loss team, a 2-loss team, and a 2-loss team. I know basketball, the equation, the net, everything else to get you into the NCAA tournament postseason play is a little different. But I'm curious how the selection committee looks at SEC basketball relative to how the college football playoff committee looked at SEC football and what played out this year.
Well, in football, we have a lot of this big gridlock of, these 3-4, 4-4 of kind of middling around 500 SEC teams. And obviously when you play a lower number of games against, similar opponents, it's not going to mean much. But in basketball, as well as the SEC has been doing this year, 8 wins. Well, out of those 8 wins, probably 6 or 7 of those could be quad 1 wins with how good the SEC has been this year with the net rankings and things like that you're talking about, which means so much for seeding. So I think Coach Cal is right in his assertion that an 8-10 team in the SEC is going to be probably better than most teams in most of these other conferences that get automatic bids into the league that the SEC teams will be facing up against at that time. And like we said, we've seen Florida this year get off to a hot start. Mississippi State, you can't count them out with how good Chris Jans does, getting his teams defensively ready to play anybody. And then obviously the usual suspects in Kentucky and Tennessee, who actually right now is struggling with Illinois. I think they're tied up at 62s the last I saw.
Where is that game? Is that a neutral site game? I haven't looked and see where the setup is. But yeah,
yeah, I mean they're in a gridlock right now, tied at 62, and I thought Illinois I thought it was a good Illinois team that beat Arkansas.
It's in Champaign. It's in Champaign.
Yeah,
so that's the game to be watching right now. Number 1 team in college basketball could be going down. Tennessee falls tonight to the Fighting Illini. I like to go. That seems like a decent. I say decent. Seems like a good college basketball atmosphere. I'd like to go see one of those games in Champaign some point down the road. I think what's going to be fascinating to watch play out in this league is like who ends up winning the regular season. Is it Kentucky? Is it Alabama? Is it Tennessee? Is it Auburn? I don't think it's Arkansas. I think they're probably picked at 5th preseason. I tend to think they'll be kind of in that middle of the pack, which that's kind of what I was expecting, at least in the regular season. Now, you're hoping they turn it on for postseason play, unlike the last 4 years under John Calipari. And I know he knows that. That's I don't know if stayed with him the right word, but that's something that people have been talking about. And that's why Kentucky fans were, in some cases, happy that he left. And now Arkansas fans like yourself are probably happy to have him. And we'll see if they can, like Carter Knox, Billy Richmond, Boogie Flan, these young freshmen, as they start. It's one thing to play against non-conference opponents like UCA. What do you do in situations like in Thompson Bowling? What do you do when you're in Rupp Arena and it's a 2-point game, or when you're on the road at the Jungle, which is the toughest at least by percentage-wise, the toughest place to play in the Southeastern Conference. Bruce Pearl has been phenomenal there, Colton, the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, you said it. Whenever they get into SEC play, all this flashiness that we've seen from the new kids on the block on the Razorback basketball team, they're going to quickly have to figure out what they can do and what they can't. And I think that there's a lot of potential. Obviously, we see Boogie Flan. He stuffed the stat sheet tonight, and he had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, and 5 steals. So I think that he's going to have his way a lot of times on some nights in the SEC, but some nights he's going to have a tough one. Because, the first game they're going to play is going to go up against Akai Ziegler, who's one of the best guards in the country. So that's going to be, something you're going to want to keep your eye on is just like you said, how good these new kids are. But I was encouraged tonight to see Carter Knox step in, kind of play the role of Adu Thiero. He finished with 14 points, his best game so far as a Razorback in my eyes. And I thought that there were a couple times where he caught the ball downhill, made a nice and one. It looked like he was kind of, excited and talking a little bit. And that's what you want for these guys, is to get them confidence. So whenever they have to go in there, whenever maybe Nelly Davis is in foul trouble or DJ Wagner maybe is, he gets poked in the eye or something. When Billy Richmond comes in, he's been in critical moments like that, and he knows exactly what to do. I'm encouraged, and I think that Cal has a good handle on the way that this rotation works. But like he said, this league this year is going to be really, really difficult, and you want to stay above that 500 range in conference play because, it's the difference between being a 4 or 5 seed and getting a 12 seed or being a 7 seed and having to play an 8. It's a big difference.
Important question. What are you doing? So it's near 7 o'clock here on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com or Hit That Line Now app. Do you have plans with the wife tonight? You bringing her food after this?
I'm thinking about it. But I see that Gonzaga and UConn are playing on Fox after we get off here in a couple of minutes. So that's probably one I want to watch too, because Caleb Battle's been really good for Gonzaga.
Yeah, Battle is he's had a dunk or two this year that I'm just like, man, I don't know if I saw that when he was in Fayetteville last year, but evidently he's found a home in Spokane?
Spokane.
Yeah, Spokane, Washington, playing for Mark Few, and that's been a situation that's panned out well for him. As it has for Adu Thiero, who did not play tonight, dealing with the flu, but 6 Arkansas players end up in double digits. The Razorbacks just shot a blistering 45% from the three-point line in the first half and 68% overall from the first half to second half. Solid numbers too, 52% and 44%. So Razorbacks, again, held this game in hand for a good chunk of it. That's caused me to doze off a couple times. Just was not necessarily like locked in as I usually am. And it's on the crevice. When you find a crevice in your couch that's just perfect? Well, I have found mine, and I think I sleep better there than I do in my actual bed, Colton, to be honest.
You look super comfortable, and I won't lie. We drove back yesterday after the company Christmas party, and Big C, he took advantage. He got a big meal. Lance was driving real careful, so Big Z, he was conked, or Big C, he was conked out in the back. I got a nice little video of him snoring. I got a nice picture of you sleeping today.
I've done that.
Good stuff.
Oh, great. It can be used against us. Eddie from Russellville texted in, guys, did they not just play their butts off against Michigan? Y'all are quick already at doubted team. I don't think we've been said anything negative. What I'm saying, Eddie, is like the SEC it's like an every night thing. They did play really good against Michigan. Cal was talking about that. Not only just he was happy that the fans showed out in New York, but how his team came together in the game. You heard him on Scott Van Pelt. You heard him talking with Chuck and Z right here on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com. You
just have to do it every night. And
that goes for Mark Pope's squad. That goes for Rick Barnes' squad, Nate Oates' squad. That's what they have to convince their guys each and every week. It's like, hey, there are no days off or weeks off. Coaching cliches and stuff like that. But with the SEC being as it is, it's really good. Again, 2 more non-conference games. You'll take on North Carolina A&T next Saturday, a week from now. That one's back in Bud Walton Arena. And then you'll take on Oakland on Monday night in Bud Walton. Then you'll travel to Knoxville to take on the Tennessee Volunteers, and the heads up for that. Just in the setup and everything else for Arkansas here in these next couple games and everything else. Curious to see. I would think that Jonas Adu, kind of like John Calipari, isn't going to get the most pleasant of welcome back, even though he was a really good player for them, all SEC guy for them last year defensively. Don't know if he's going to get that. Is there a game on the schedule, Colton, when you look at Kentucky is the easy one, so take that out. Yeah. What's the game you're looking forward to? For me, it's Alabama the next Saturday after Kentucky on February the 8th at home. It's the best home game on your schedule, in my opinion.
Well, just because I want to see how how far away we are from where I think the best team in the conference is with Auburn. I am excited to see that matchup in the middle of February, and because I know that's going to be a really, really important one, that if Arkansas can squeak out what's going to be obviously another quad one win right there before the tournament starts, that's going to be a big one that I hope to see. Plus, I just can't stand Bruce Pearl.
He's a good coach, but he does wear on some people. Hey, this has been a great show of Hog Reaction. Appreciate everyone joining us on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com, plus Hit That Line Now app tonight. It's been brought to you by Buffington Homes, helping you build a life you'll love online at buffingtonhomesar.com, and by the Stadium Shop on Razorback. Robert, Elizabeth, Matt, their entire team can help you out with Christmas stuff. Shop on Razorback.com, SHOPP on Razorback.com. It's where Santa Hog shops as well. Ho, 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 hogs. That's going to do it for us. For Colton Little, I'm Ty Richardson. Everyone have a great rest of your Saturday night here on December the 14th. We're back with you Monday morning, 6 a.m., Chuck and Bo Show.
You're listening to Hog Reaction, brought to you by Buffington Homes and by the Stadium Shop on Razor.